That winter night was supposed to be warm, full of family, full of laughter, full of love. Instead, my 7-year-old daughter walked home alone in the freezing dark, carrying every tiny gift she had wrapped herself, because her own grandparents wouldn't let her inside. And when I found out, I didn't yell. I didn't call screaming. I stayed quiet, signed one paper, and 3 hours later, their perfect little world began to crack. My name is Teresa. I got home late after a long nursing shift, expecting the usual silence. Cassidy was supposed to be at my parents' annual winter open house, the big family gathering she had been excited about for weeks. Sleepovers, games, cookies, presents. She had counted down every single day. But the second I opened the front door, something felt wrong. Cold air greeted me. Too cold. Her tiny boots were lined up neatly by the entrance. Her coat hung exactly where she always left it, and the small bag of handmade gifts she had worked so hard on sat untouched. Still packed. Still perfect. Like she had never even left. My heart dropped. Cassidy was sitting at the kitchen table. Same clothes. Same ponytail. Shoulders hunched, trying to take up as little space as possible. Not crying. Not complaining. Just small. Cassidy, I said softly. She looked up immediately. Hi, Mom. You're supposed to be at Grandma and Grandpa's. I know. Her voice was flat. Practiced. Like she had already rehearsed it. They said there wasn't enough room for me. Something inside me went completely still. Not broken, not shattered. Just cold. I sat beside her and pulled her into my arms. She melted against me like she'd been holding herself together all evening. But I didn't let my anger show. Not yet. Tell me what happened, sweetheart, I whispered. Piece by piece, the story came out. She rang the bell. Grandma looked surprised to see her. Told her to wait outside. Said the house was full. Then my nephew Zachary came over, kicked her gift bag, laughed at her winter clothes. And no one stopped him. No one defended her. Grandpa said not to make a fuss. Grandma said there weren't enough chairs. Told her maybe she could come another time. Another time. Like my daughter was an appointment they could reschedule. When Cassidy tried to give them the presents she made, Grandma didn't even take them. Maybe later, she said. Then her phone died. She asked to call me. They said it would complicate things. So instead, they told a 7-year-old girl to walk home, alone, in the dark, in winter. She told me the walk was cold. Her hands hurt from carrying the bag. She kept thinking someone would come get her. But no one did. I pictured her small figure under the streetlights, every house glowing warm except the one that should have welcomed her. And something inside me hardened. You did nothing wrong, I told her firmly. You were kind. You brought gifts. You showed up. If anyone should be ashamed, it's them. That night, I made her hot chocolate with extra marshmallows, wrapped her in a blanket, held her until she fell asleep against me. But while she slept, I didn't. Because this wasn't just one bad night. This was years of favoritism, years of quiet neglect, years of my family deciding who mattered and who didn't. Robin, my sister, had always been the favorite. I was the disappointment, the divorced daughter, the single mom, the one who should have tried harder. The only person who never treated me that way was Grandpa George. He helped us quietly, paid bills, showed up, loved Cassidy like she was the center of his world. And the cruelest part? The house they turned my daughter away from, the one they loved showing off every winter, existed because of him. He paid for it, so the family could be together, so no one would feel left out. And yet, they left her out anyway. That night, after putting Cassidy to bed, because he deserved to know. And when Cassidy whispered through the phone, I think I did something wrong, that's why they sent me away. I saw something change in Grandpa George's calm voice on the phone had been enough to loosen the tight knot in my chest, just enough, so I could breathe again. When Cassidy finally drifted back to sleep, her tiny breath slow and steady, I carried her to bed and tucked the blanket around her shoulders. I stayed there a moment watching, memorizing the peace on her face. Whatever happened next, At least she wasn't alone anymore. At least someone else saw the truth. Back in the living room, I turned off the lights and stood by the window, staring out at the empty street. The winter air pressed against the glass, cold and unforgiving. But inside, things felt just a little lighter. Morning came too fast. Sunlight slipped through the curtains. My phone stayed silent. Too silent. I had called Grandpa George 3 times already. No answer. That wasn't like him. He always picked up, especially after a conversation like last night. Each unanswered ring tightened the worry in my chest. Something wasn't right. Cassidy, I said gently, grabbing my keys. We're going to check on Grandpa. She didn't ask questions, just nodded and put on her shoes. The drive felt longer than usual. Every red light felt personal. Every second stretched thin. When we reached his house, it looked wrong. Too quiet.
No lights.
No movement. I knocked. Nothing. Used my spare key. Inside, everything was neat. His walker was still by the couch. But he wasn't there. My stomach dropped. Across the street, the neighbor was watering plants. Have you seen my grandfather today? She frowned. Oh, yeah. Your parents came early this morning. Picked him up. Didn't look happy about it, though. He kept looking back at the house. That was all I needed to hear. I didn't waste another second. We drove straight to my parents' place. The same streets Cassidy had walked alone the night before. I forced myself not to picture it.
Not now.
Their car was in the driveway. I held Cassidy's hand tight as we walked up. Knocked hard. My mother opened the door, just a crack. Her smile disappeared the second she saw us. Where's Grandpa George? I asked.
He's resting.
Not a good time. I need to see him. Now. My father stepped behind her, arms crossed.
He's fine.
We brought him here to keep an eye on him. Keep an eye on him. Like he was a possession. Like he didn't get a choice. You can't just take him, I said calmly. He doesn't live here. Go home, Teresa. Cassidy squeezed my hand tighter. I felt her shaking. That's when I knew. Enough. I pulled out my phone. You're seriously calling the police? My mother snapped. Yes. My voice didn't shake. I'm requesting a welfare check on my elderly grandfather who may have been taken without consent. The silence after that felt electric. When the patrol car pulled up, my parents' confidence vanished. The officers were calm, professional. They asked simple questions. Then they went inside. We followed. Grandpa George was sitting in the back room with a blanket on his lap. He looked tired, but when he saw us, his eyes cleared. The officer knelt down gently. Sir, are you here because you want to be? A pause. Then,
No.
I want to go home. Simple. Final. My mother started protesting. The officer stopped her. They helped him stand. Before I could move, Cassidy stepped forward and took his arm. He smiled at her.
Soft.
Grateful. And that's when I realized she wasn't the little girl who got sent away anymore. She was protecting him now. The drive back was quiet. Then he said softly, Thank you. We got him settled. Coffee. His favorite chair. Sunlight by the window. And then he looked at me and said something I didn't expect. I already called my lawyer. Lawyer scene cinematic tightening. The office smelled like old paper and coffee. Wood panels. Stacks of files. Serious.
Permanent.
The lawyer explained everything carefully. The will. The house. The money. The trust. All of it. All of it goes to Teresa and a trust for Cassidy, he said. And your family may contest it. Grandpa George didn't hesitate. I understand. Then he signed. Steady.
Certain.
Every stroke of that pen felt like justice. Not revenge. Justice. Cassidy never let go of his hand. Not once. Family backlash, emotional tone. The calls started days later. Robin crying. Accusing. You manipulated him. It's about money. You stole from us.
I didn't yell.
Didn't argue. Just said quietly. You didn't have room for a 7-year-old girl on a cold night. Silence. Then more anger. Threats.
Blame.
Finally, I blocked them. One by one.
No speeches.
No drama. Just peace. Soft ending. Hopeful tone. Grandpa George moved in with us soon after. We added a ramp. Grab bars. Made the house his. Morning coffee smells. Story time at night. Card games at the kitchen table. And Cassidy. She changed. Shoulders straighter. Laugh louder. Inviting friends over without fear. One day I heard her tell someone, "Real friends always make room for you." And that's when I knew. We didn't lose family. We built a better one. Because family isn't blood. It's who stays, who protects, who makes space. Every single time. And sometimes, loving your child means closing a door so a better life can finally walk in.